So let's talk about Radix, one of the most exciting new projects that are working within the DeFi sector, and it's radically changing the way DeFi can grow and enter the mainstream. This project can process the most transactions compared to anything else, which is a game changer in my opinion. It's a project that I already featured here in a previous episode. In fact, I interviewed their CEO, Piers Ridyard, with whom we discussed the unique features and the specifics of this project, so you can check out this video to find out more. Here is a very brief clip where Piers explains about the Radix capabilities to process millions of transactions per second and avoid double spending, just one of the advantages that it has over every other crypto project currently in existence.
If let's take the example of you send some money to your mother and I send some money to my mother, why does the ledger care whether or not my transaction came first or your transaction came first? It doesn't. It doesn't concern the same money. Completely parallel events. The only order you care about are things that are related. And if they're unrelated, they can occur in whatever order they need to. You could force the data, the way that you write transactions to the ledger, to automatically order things into buckets. So on Radix, we have 2 to the power 256 shards, which is a very, very, very large number of shards. And every single transaction is automatically mapped to a shard. And then all of these nodes on the network service as many of the shards as they have the capability to do so. And what this means is that if a transaction is trying to spend the same money twice, it's always going to be served by the same nodes. But if a transactions concern different money, they will automatically be potentially on different nodes, or at least not necessarily to be ordered versus each other. And a node could run many consensus operations in parallel, right? So if I'm a node, I'm a big node, I'm serving lots of the shard space, and there's a transaction on shard 5 and there's a transaction on shard 10 and they're not related, I can run consensus in parallel on both of those transactions. I don't have to wait till I finish doing the consensus on shard 5 before I go and do the consensus on shard 10. They're not related, so I can run them in parallel. And so now what you get on Radix is you get partial ordering of related events and a massively parallel network that can process everything that is not related simultaneously, meaning that your throughput is basically limited to the computing power you can put on the network without breaking the really important parts of consensus, which is making sure that you can't double spend and you can't reverse historical transactions. The extra thing that this brings is that now you have enough space to store everything. You don't have a problem of state becoming too big, because the sharding of where all the transactions live also means that the amount of storage that a node needs is proportional to how many shards it's operating on the network.
So this was a very short excerpt, of course, from our interview. I urge you to go and watch the whole video. It was a really insightful conversation, an eye-opener indeed. I learned a lot from it, and surely you will too. So go check it out if you missed it. I dropped the link in the description below, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it will pop up in this top corner right now here. We've been talking about Solana a lot lately and its 50,000 transactions per second capability, which is one of the biggest we have in the blockchain space. And it's surely a big factor in its recent rise to the top 10 cryptos by market cap, but Radix tops that by many times over. So this makes Radix one of the most promising projects in all of the crypto space. They're building a layer 1 protocol entirely focused on DeFi, and Radix plans to make developers building DeFi dApps 10 times more productive, to make DeFi dApps 100 times more secure, and it's at least 1,000 times more scalable than any other crypto due to its unlimited scalability. This is something unheard of in the blockchain space, and we talked about how this is achieved through sharding and their consensus algorithm, Cerberus, a revolutionary algorithm that enables practically infinite linear scalability while maintaining atomic composability. This sounds complicated, but we did break it down in more simple terms in that video. I also talked about the eXRD token, their native token, which is a deflationary token all fees from transactions are being burned. You might recognize this from the recent Ethereum hard fork, but this was already in place way before the Ethereum EAP 1559 came into the picture, and the Radix token pays staking rewards too. Back in July, Radix successfully launched its Olympia mainnet, and you can now stake your XRD with about 35% APY. Almost half of all available tokens are already staked by the users of the network. This is more than 900 million tokens, which shows that the staking is really popular, and in fact the token was at pre-sale price of 3 cents and has now jumped to 12 cents as of today. So that's 4 times price appreciation since its launch. So the total supply is 24 billion tokens that will be produced over a 40-year period, and today is the final unlock of the XRD tokens that Radix will ever have. Only 35% of the tokens were unlocked until now. The other 65% are actually being unlocked today. And after this unlock, there are annual 300 million XRD tokens that will be emissioned for staking. There's also a massive simplification in the tokenomics for Radix. Now here is the official announcement for today's event. They say that this final unlock of tokens is the response to the community proposals, the very high level of staking, tremendous excitement following the Olympia launch and the upcoming Alexandria release, combined with a strong community majority favoring this unlock, indicates an exceedingly high degree of confidence by the community and the token holders in Radix. And I quote, "We agree that this move represents one of the most effective ways to accelerate the distribution of stake, decentralization, and network adoption. If XRD remains at current price, it would increase from its current 350 market cap rank to the top 100 on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, with a market cap of around 960 million. Its current market cap is just over 130 million, so we're talking around 7 times bigger than today's value. This is compared to other layer 1 protocols such as Avalanche, which is $11.5 billion market cap, Solana, $48 billion market evaluation, Cosmos, $9.5 billion market evaluation, Elrond, $5 billion market evaluation, and more. As this will be the final unlock of eXRD, this is the wrapped XRD on Ethereum, the tokenomics of Radix will be easier to understand for newcomers and existing holders. The top line economics of Radix after the final unlock will be: circulating supply will be 9.6 billion XRD after this final unlock today, due to the indefinitely locked stablecoin reserve. Also 12 billion XRD is the total supply with no new tokens or unlocks other than the 300 million annual XRD network emissions for staking. 24 billion is the XRD maximum supply that will be reached in a minimum of 40 years, and this is with the added 300 million annual XRD emissions. Additionally, XRD tokens are locked via delegated proof of stake, with over 48% of the tokens currently locked in staking in just over a month since the Radix public network genesis. And this further reduces the floating supply, or the number of tokens available for trade on secondary markets. All transaction fees, as I mentioned on Radix, paid in XRD are being burned. Approximately 15,000 XRD has been already burned since the network went live on July 28th this year. You can see in the table here that for every 2 cents increase in price, an extra 5% supply gets unlocked. They're currently at the 35% unlock level and will be unlocking the rest today. That's the remaining 65% of tokens, and it's happening between 2 and 5 o'clock Universal Time Standard, which is around the time that this video goes live. This means all the available tokens will be in circulating supply now. In the announcement, they encourage everyone in the Radix community and all Radix token holders to join the discussions about how they can contribute to and maximize the success that we all want to see from this unlocking of the eXRD tokens. The best places to get involved are, of course, the Radix Telegram channel and the Radix Discord server. So, what does this unlock mean? Other projects that went through unlocks have seen positive results following the unlock, most obvious example of course being Solana's unlock back in January this year. You can currently stake XRD with about 35% annual, so most people can start staking and getting these rewards. Not to forget that all transaction fees are being burnt, which has a deflationary effect on the tokenomics of Radix, a huge factor for me to be bullish on this in the long term. And of course, with no locked supply, this move represents one of the most effective ways to accelerate the distribution of stake, decentralization, and network adoption of Radix. So this answers the question, why am I super bullish on Radix? Within a month of the Olympia launch, there was over $100 million worth of XRD staked on the Radix mainnet. That's over 46% of the circulating supply. Also, the Radix Alexandria release is scheduled for December this year, and there is going to be a lot of significant marketing activities in the run-up to that release. As usual, we're dealing with a typical buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. Alexandria promises to revolutionize the DeFi development landscape with a DeFi-specific programming language, Scripto, which will increase the developers' productivity by 10-fold, and it will increase the DeFi security by 100-fold. That means DeFi dApps can be brought to market way quicker with way less resources than developers using existing frameworks such as Solidity and the Ethereum virtual machine. It should also reduce the number of and the magnitude of DeFi hacks by 100 times. Just look at the recent Poly network hack that stole $600 million. That's a real problem in DeFi that needs to be solved. Previous Radix technology, Tempo, has already been shown to run at over 1.4 million transactions per second, and the latest iteration of their unique consensus protocol, Cerberus, has unlimited linear scalability, which means that there is no limit to its transactions per second, as more nodes are being added. This means that Radix is equipped to meet not just the needs of DeFi today, but the needs of the entire global financial market well into the future. As a Layer 1 protocol, Radix uses its own distributed ledger. It is not a blockchain because blockchains cannot scale at a fundamental level. Application layer and the Radix engine uses Scripto, a custom-built programming language designed specifically for DeFi. Transaction fees are 100% burned, which decreases the total supply, and Cerberus is Radix's consensus layer. It uses a pre-sharded ledger consisting of 2,256 individual shards, unique braided consensus, and delegated proof of stake to deliver practically infinite scalability without breaking atomic composability. Lastly, Radix has a unique approach to smart contract-like programmability. In the Radix engine, components are modular, reusable pieces of functionality that can be combined in a variety of ways to build everything from basic contracts to entire dApps. Once created, components can be sharded in an on-ledger marketplace. There, developers can set royalties that are paid out from every transaction in which their code is being used, incentivizing a thriving ecosystem of high-quality, reusable code, which will see more developers join their community and build all kinds of new applications that will add to the Radix ecosystem, ultimately making it one of the giants in the crypto space. Of course, this is my personal opinion. Go find out more about this. I dropped all of the important links in the description below. Even if this doesn't make you bullish on Radix, at least after this quick overview that I just did, I'm sure this will be on your crypto radar. So we can revise it in a few months' time and see how it's progressed. So far, it's done pretty well. Well, this is everything for today's episode of Crypto Corner, everyone. Thanks for staying until the end. I hope this brings you value, and if it did, please share it with someone else who would also benefit from the information that I presented to you here. Also, show your support by leaving a like and a comment below. And please ignore all of the spam comments. I know I've got a lot of these. As my channel grows and gains more popularity, I also get tons of spam. I would never share my phone publicly or invite you to WhatsApp me. So these are scammers. Don't reply to them, guys. Also, make sure that you check out the links in the description below where I list all of my top crypto services, exchanges, wallets, my top charting tools for market analysis, and my 2 ebooks. Learn Crypto, the ultimate beginner's guide to investing in cryptocurrencies, where I share with you everything that I've learned in my 6 years in this industry, including all of my mistakes, and Crypto Jargon A to Z. This is my complete crypto dictionary with almost 1,000 terms and acronyms and trading slang that you should know. It's an Amazon bestseller and it's now in its 3rd edition and at a super low price as well. If you want to be on my mailing list and receive my bi-weekly crypto newsletter packed with valuable information, the link is also in the description below. Well, trade carefully and stay profitable.